They called him a dreamer, but not in a kind way. In the narrow, dusty lanes of a small town in Uttar Pradesh, Aram was known for one thing: his stubborn dream of going abroad. While others in his class settled for local jobs or family businesses, Aram's eyes were set on the skies, on foreign cities that shimmered on his desktop wallpaper. London, Toronto, Sydney. But dreaming, as he learned, came at a cost. His father, a retired railway clerk, had saved every rupee to educate Aram through school. When Aram said he wanted to go abroad to study further, his father hesitated but agreed. They sold the only piece of gold his mother owned, a thin wedding chain, and paid for the IELTS coaching. Aram studied like a man possessed. Day and night blurred into one long stretch of practice tests, grammar drills, and YouTube videos of people who'd made it. He sat for the test and scored a band of 5.5. He didn't tell anyone at first. He walked back home slowly, heart thudding, eyes burning. That night, when his mother asked if he wanted more roti, he smiled and said he was full. His room was silent, but inside he was screaming. Still, he tried again. Second attempt. Band 6.0. Not enough for the universities he dreamed of. Friends began to whisper. Relatives scoffed. Aram ko bez hawa meinad nahai. They laughed at weddings and gatherings. His father said nothing, but every evening sat staring at old bank statements like they were fading photographs. But Aram didn't stop. He took up tutoring kids in the neighborhood, basic English and math. For a few hundred rupees, he saved every coin. Ate less, spent nothing. And with that, he enrolled in an online program to improve his writing and speaking. His third attempt, band 6.5. He was getting closer, but it still wasn't enough. By then, 2 years had passed. His classmates were married or earning. He was still in the same room, still tutoring, still trying. One evening, after a particularly harsh comment from a relative, Aram walked out into the rain. He sat on the roadside curb, soaked and trembling, not from cold, but from the question tearing at his heart. Was this all a mistake? He looked at the muddy water flowing beside the road and whispered, "Tell me if I should quit." A scooter sped by, splashing him completely. His phone in his pocket buzzed. A message from a student. "Sir, I topped English. All because of you. Thank you." And just like that, the universe answered. He went home, changed into dry clothes, opened his books, and began again. This time, he didn't just study. He lived the language. He watched documentaries, shadowed interviews, spoke to himself in the mirror, argued with YouTubers, recorded his voice and listened again and again. He turned every failure into fuel. 6 months later, he took the test once more. Band 7.5. He held the result sheet and cried for a long time, not because it was perfect, but because it was finally enough. But the journey wasn't over. He now had to apply to colleges. Each application cost money. So he sold his bike, his only valuable possession. He borrowed from a cousin, promised to repay. Wrote SOPs late into the night. Wrote, edited, rewrote. Researched every university, every scholarship. Sent out 5 applications. 3 rejections came first, then silence, and then 1 letter. A scholarship from a mid-tier university in Canada. Partial funding. Not enough, but something. Aram ran to his father with the letter. His father didn't say anything at first. He read it twice, folded it neatly, and placed it on the small Mander shelf beside the framed photo of Aram's grandfather. Then he looked up and smiled. "You've won half the battle, Beta. Let's finish the rest." His mother gave him her gold bangles, her last, and said, "Go write a story we can be proud of." The visa process began. More documents, more delays, more waiting. And just when things seemed smooth, the pandemic hit. Flights stopped. Admissions were frozen. Aram's dream stood on hold. Again, but he didn't break. He used the time to work remotely as a content writer for a small agency. He earned dollars, saved, learned budgeting, built confidence, grew fluent in professional English. A year later, the embassy reopened. He reapplied. This time, everything aligned. One August morning, he held his passport, Staring at the Canadian visa inside it, it felt surreal. His fingers trembled. He had imagined this moment for 5 years. The day he left, his entire mahalla came to see him off. Even those who once mocked him now patted his back. His mother cried quietly. His father folded his hands and said, "Go show them what small towns can do." In Canada, it wasn't easy. He washed dishes at night to afford rent. He studied through sleepless days. Winter bit through his thin jackets. He missed home so much it hurt, but he never missed purpose. Every weekend, he sent money home. Every semester, he topped his class. Slowly, he built a network, got internships, wrote articles that were published. His professors began to notice. His confidence became contagious. 3 years later, Arm graduated top of his class, with a job offer from a multinational tech firm in Toronto. He flew back to India that winter, not as a boy with a dream, but as a man who turned pain into power. At the airport, his father waited, eyes moist, arms wide. "You did it," he whispered. "No," Aram smiled. "We did." Today, Aram runs a mentorship program for students in small towns who want to go abroad but don't know where to start. He tells them his story not to boast, but to remind them that failure is not the end. It's just the first draft of your success. Because sometimes the dream takes longer. Sometimes the world will doubt you. Sometimes you will doubt yourself. But if you can stay through the noise, push through the silence, and walk through every storm, your time will come. Just like Aram's did. But success, Aram soon realized, was not the end of the story. It was merely the door to something greater. After settling into his new job in Toronto, with a steady income and warm apartment, Aram allowed himself one small luxury, a framed photo of his parents on his desk. Each time he felt lost in the noise of corporate meetings and cold subway rides, he would glance at that photo and remember why he began. But the corporate world, though shiny and filled with promise, was not easy on the soul. Deadlines came fast. People were colder than the Canadian snow. Despite the fancy coffee machines and sleek glass offices, Aram felt something was missing. One evening, as he sat alone on a bench in downtown Toronto, sipping a lukewarm tea, he saw a group of international students laughing, all holding printed visa approvals in their hands. He smiled. That used to be him. Hopeful, hungry, grateful. And then a thought struck him. How many Arams are still back home, stuck in that first failure? Who will believe in them if they don't have someone to guide them through the storm? That night, he opened a blank Google Doc and typed a title in bold. From Small Town to Global Dreams, a practical guide. What started as a simple guide became a full online mentorship program. Step by step, video by video, he began to share his journey. Not just the achievements, but the raw truth, the 5.5 band shame, the countless rejections, the nights he cried without anyone knowing. He called the initiative the flight within, because, as he often said in his videos, the real journey is not just crossing oceans, it's discovering the wings inside you. Within a few months, hundreds of students subscribed. Some messaged him late at night. "Bia, I was about to give up, but your story changed everything." He didn't just teach IELTS or SOP writing. He taught belief. He took free Zoom calls every weekend, helping those who couldn't afford expensive counselors. His Sundays became busier than his weekdays. And yet, he never complained, because he knew he was healing not just others, but himself too. Back in his village, Aram's parents had now become local legends. People came to their home, seeking advice for their own children. His father, once hesitant about Aram's dreams, now proudly said, "My son teaches the world how not to quit." Then came a call that changed everything again. It was from the Ministry of Education in India. They had seen Aram's viral video titled, "I failed 3 times, but Canada was a dream. It was a promise." They invited him to speak at a youth summit in Delhi. Aram stood on that stage, looking out at hundreds of students, officials, and educators. He told them his truth, not as a hero, but as a mirror. He ended with these words: "The problem is not that we fail. The problem is that we think failure defines us. It doesn't. You can be a failure today and a fighter tomorrow. Your destiny doesn't depend on your marks, your money, or your English. It depends on how long you're willing to walk, while everyone else watches you fall. The applause lasted minutes, but what lasted longer was the impact. Soon after, Aram was invited to collaborate with international scholarship programs to guide Indian students. He built a non-profit platform, raise funds, and ensure at least 50 underprivileged students a year got full guidance, and even sponsorships. His proudest moment wasn't landing in Canada. It was when a girl from a remote village in Assam messaged him. "Sir, I saw your YouTube video 3 months ago. I'm now holding a UK visa because I believed again. Thank you." Aram realized then he hadn't just crossed borders. He had broken barriers. One winter evening, he stood on the balcony of his Toronto apartment, phone in hand, recording another video. Snowflakes fell around him as he spoke. If you're watching this and you feel stuck, if you failed your test, lost your hope, or feel like giving up, don't. Please don't. I've been you, and I'm telling you it gets better. Not overnight, not easily, but one step, one try, one breath at a time. And when you finally fly, you won't just change your life. You'll light a path for others to follow. The video went viral. His inbox filled. His small mentorship channel hit 1 million subscribers. Media started calling. Interviews followed. But Aram remained unchanged. Still humble. Still rooted. Still replying to DMs from scared students at midnight. Because he remembered where he came from. Because he knew what it felt like to be lost. And because he never wanted another dreamer to feel alone. Today, if you ever fly through Toronto Pearson Airport, you might find a tall young man helping a nervous student at the immigration counter, translating forms or calming panic. That's Aram, the boy who failed 3 times. The boy who was laughed at. The boy who now helps others fly. Not just across oceans, but above every doubt ever thrown at them. And in his journey, one truth shines brightest. Sometimes, the world won't believe in you until you believe in yourself first.